And we are live. Happy Wednesday, November the 18th. Ask me anything. I'm Dr. Teresa, your host for today. And we've got just some really great questions. Yes, I know marketing's been on your mind because next week is the big 5-day Black Friday, Cyber Monday special. And yes, people will have their wallets open. They're going to have their credit cards ready. They are ready to go. So marketing, I know, is on your mind. Thank you for having me today. Listen, marketing is not expected for anybody to know everything in it. It's a lifelong learning thing because markets always shift. Markets always change. There's always new ways to market. There's either new technology or there's new messages that you need to give your market. You might have some competition that showed up and they're doing something a little differently, and now you're thinking, well, do I do that? Do I stick with what I've been doing? So yeah, marketing is a lifelong process. As long as you're in business, one of the best things I ever heard is you're not in the business you think you're in. Like, I do Facebook ads, right? I'm not in the business of Facebook ads. I'm in the business of marketing Facebook ads. Yes. Got it? Like a lawyer. He's not in the business of law. He's in the business of marketing legalities. Legal justice. Legal justice. I think Dan Kennedy said that. He phrased that. I have a Dan Kennedy quote for you today. All is well. He said, now think about this. Marketing is something that one must do on a regular, ongoing basis, right? It's like exercise. When you exercise, you don't see immediate results. But it's fantastic. If you keep doing it, you get fantastic results. That's the amazing part about it. So with marketing, you may not see immediate results, but yes, with ongoing marketing, you will see fantastic results. For example, I started this about, I'm going to say 4 or 5 weeks ago. I don't think anybody watched the first time. And that's okay. The idea is to keep doing it. Be consistent in your marketing. Be consistent. Do it more often. Do it more frequently than your competitor. Show up. Because you know what? I have people like filling out the form now, asking me the questions. I have people saying, I'll be there. It took 4 or 5 weeks to get traction. Now we're building some steam. You can wish that business would just grow. But as Dan Kennedy says, if wishes were horses, we would all be riders. Okay, on to our questions. We've got plenty of questions. Ooh, look, here's some really big, long ones too. Okay. First question. Da-da-da. What is the $1-a-day ad strategy? This is a great question because this particular $1-a-day strategy is something I've learned through an ad strategy called the BELT method, B-E-L-T. BELT stands for, it's an acronym. The B is believe, the E is engage, the L is lead, and the T is transact. In the BELT strategy, within that, I'm using the $1-a-day ad strategy, and you can do this too. Use the $1-a-day ad strategy to see who's interested in your message. For $1 a day on Facebook ads, you really could run your same message, your same ad, for $1 for each different group of people that you would think would be interested in what you have to say. Now, when I say group of people, Facebook calls that an audience. So let's say you've got 10 audiences that you think would be interested in your message. You would set up the ad, $1 to go to this audience, $1 to go to the next audience, $1 to go to that, and so on until you've covered all 10 audiences. Now, the $1 a day ad strategy is fantastic because you will find out at a very low cost who's interested in your message. So many times my clients come to me and they say, well, I know the kind of person I want to have, and they'll describe some personality traits, or they'll describe, the clients that they have had in the past. So if you know what interests those clients have had, like maybe what books are they reading? What movies do they like? If you're in healthcare, what other products are they using? Very important, know who your competition is. Because if you know who your competition is, that, my friends, is where some of your audience is. Now, I'm not saying to go steal anything. I'm just letting you know that part of capitalism, this great country we live in, part of that is knowing your competition. My dad told me, I grew up in one of those fantastic entrepreneurial families, very grateful for that. And my dad learned from his dad, who was also an entrepreneur. And my dad said things to me like, you've got to know your competition, Teresa. You've got to know, why do people buy from them? Is their customer service really great? It's not about price. It's about the value that's perceived by the buyer. So if my competition has a higher perceived value, there's no sense in getting into a bidding war. We just put each other out of business. What's the point in that? Yes, Dad said, your competition, you can call them your enemies, but if you do that, he said, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. I think Dad was a bit of a cynic, don't you? Anyhow, thank you for the question, Rose. I appreciate it. Good question. Okay, next question. Why have a Facebook group? Why have a Facebook group? Great question. This is coming from Elizabeth. Elizabeth, here's the scoop. Okay, you, I know, are working very diligently. You're posting every day. You're posting additional stuff. You're making sure it goes on your Instagram account. You're making sure it goes over here on your LinkedIn account. You're thinking, I don't want another place to post a darn thing. Well, here's the scoop. Okay. Groups of people share a common interest. And Facebook likes groups. They want people to relate to each other. They want community on Facebook. And a group is a community. So for that reason, anybody who's within your group, within your community, Facebook is going to be really, really, really sure to make sure that that person inside your group knows you posted something. And Facebook will do this by giving them a notification. So when you have a group, people will see what you're posting. And they start to meet other people in the group. And that community builds. And you can invite people to share their concerns with you. Share their desires with you. Share their worst fears with you. What is keeping them up at night? Now, the answer to these questions is actually the message to attract more people for your product or service. So you create the group based on your product. And I'm not going to keep saying product or service because your service is your product. My product is the ad I produce. I want you to be sure, create a Facebook group. Start asking questions. Get the people in the group engaged. Ask them about their fears. What would they like more from you? Would they prefer that you post at night versus during the day? Would that be better for them? Do they want a bigger size of your product? Would they like your product in a different color? They're having a problem operating something on your product and they've not had a safe place to ask about it. Yes, your group, it's like your personal, what do they call these things? They call those focus groups. Focus groups, that's what they call those. I couldn't think of it for a minute. Matter of fact, if you want the biggest free focus group you can possibly imagine, go on Twitter. Go on Twitter and search that subject. You will have the biggest focus group you can imagine with tons of information about desires and fears and dreams. What do your peeps want? What does your tribe want? So that, Elizabeth, would be why you want a Facebook group. Thank you so much for contributing. Okay, next question is from Miss Emily Schul. Hi, Emily. Thanks for putting your question in. Emily would like to know, are there advantages or disadvantages to sharing an original post from your business page to other pages rather than copying and pasting the same post to those other pages? Great question, Emily. I'm going to repeat it just for clarity. Are there advantages or disadvantages to sharing an original post from your business page to other pages rather than copying and pasting the same post? Yes, my friend. Yes, Emily, there are huge advantages. Huge. First one is when a post gets shared, if you can imagine like a big leaderboard. Picture a baseball scoreboard. And they've got runs, innings, fouls, strikes, outs. So Facebook kind of has like the same kind of a big scoreboard. And on that scoreboard, they're seeing on your posts, are they shared? Are people commenting on them? Are people engaging with them? Engagements are using the Facebook emojis. The thumbs up, the heart, the hug, the laugh, ha. There's a few more. I think there's mad and shock. So those are engagements with your post when someone uses an emoji. When they comment, obviously they're writing a comment in the comments. And when they share, they're sharing the post. And Facebook uses that scoreboard to then say, oh, this is a popular post. We need to pay attention and make sure other people see it also. Their algorithm then will push your post out more for you to more people. It's a natural, organic way to get your message out there, to show your values of your product and the value in your product. So that would be the advantage of sharing the post. The disadvantage, there's no disadvantages to sharing it. Now, because in a situation where it will be copied and pasted, that is a disadvantage to you only because you don't have the advantages of sharing. I hope that makes sense, Emily. So definitely share your posts. I find it incredibly time efficient also to share it. Now, the new Facebook format, one of the advantages of that is when I share a post to a group, it allows me to just check off that group and share it once. Now, on my phone, I'm not seeing that on my phone just yet. My phone is still the old way where I have to, go back to the post, share, let the screen open, pick a group, share, go back to the post. But on the new format on my desktop, I don't have to do that. It's a lot more efficient. So great question, Emily. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Okay. Our next question here is from Ms. Jolyn Cornelson. Hi, Jolyn. How are you? Jolyn wants to know, what's the best starting point settings for a new ad, for a new offer, in terms of how much money per day and where should the ad show up? Beautiful question, Jolyn. Great question. So, going to repeat it just for clarity. What's the best starting point settings for a new ad, for a new offer, in terms of how much money per day and where should the ad show up? Now, how much money per day? Now, we talked a little bit earlier about the dollar-a-day ad strategy. Now, that dollar-a-day ad strategy, oh, Emily says thanks. Oh, my pleasure, Emily. It's my pleasure. So, Jolyn, we talked a little earlier about the dollar-a-day ad strategy. So, in terms of money being spent on a new offer, $1 a day, $2 a day, because whether your audience has 1,000 people in it or 1,000,000 people in it, Facebook's going to tell you whether or not they like it or not. So you could definitely use $1 a day to get started. Now, let's say you have the audiences, you've been advertising to them, they know who you are, and you've decided you're going to have a masterclass. Masterclass is the new word for webinar, by the way. So you're going to have a virtual masterclass. And in this masterclass, you're going to talk about something that's new for your audience, but your audience knows you. So in that case, you could spend more than $1 a day, because you also want to get as much traction as quickly as possible. People will register for a webinar and then forget, right? So you could spend more than the $1 a day to get that quick traction and get more people interested right away if you already have an audience. Now, how much per day also can depend on what do you want for your outcome? What's your goal? So let's say you want people to download your brand new guide that you just wrote about, that's super fantastic, about your product and your service, and you want them to have the guide. So yes, you could still do the $1 a day on something like that as well. Now, where should the ad show up? This is interesting. Now, Facebook has an opportunity for you to tell it where to show up. So you can tell Facebook where you want your ad to show up. So that means placement. Now, one of the things that I think is a super way to go is in-stream for video. In-stream's fantastic. You can also do Instagram, Messenger. Now, when you're setting up that ad, definitely consider not having it. You definitely like with a new offer. For a new offer, Jolene, go with a video, because that's your least expensive way to go to advertise. Go with a video for $1 a day for your new offer. Now, one of the things I've talked about in the past that might be helpful here, Jolene, is let's say you've got 2 ways you want to phrase your offer. You have 2 sets of copy. You could put those pieces of copy in 2 separate posts on your page or in your group and see what kind of response you get in terms of engagement, comments, and shares. That's all part of the scoreboard. Now, one of those 2 is going to win. That would be another way to get started with your new offer. Again, using a video at $1 a day. One of the things to not do with a new offer is skip the audience network. It's kind of hard to retarget them. And you really want to be able to talk to people more than once about your product. I had someone say to me, well, I just thought you put an ad up there and everybody sees it. Well, here's the thing. Think about when you're going to buy something. Like, let's say, for instance, I'm checking out some different things for Christmas for my family. Jewelry. I'm on Etsy a lot looking at different products. I'm thinking about the purchase. Now, if I see more ads about those same products, it reminds me, oh, that's right, I wanted to get that. People, in our own human nature, out of curiosity, we may click on an ad, but we may not buy at that very moment. We may not opt in and give you our email for your free guide at that moment. Or the message just didn't resonate with us at that moment. We were irritated, or we had a million things on our mind. So you want to think of having more than one ad. So Jolene, start your offer. Start at $1 a day. Make sure you have more offers to go out after that, either on video or a landing page view. So that, my friends, that would be what you want to do. Because when you're human, you need more than one ad. We're all human. What am I saying? So think of the offer, your new offer, of having 2 or 3 ads ready to go for it. Because people are human and they need to see things more than once. So I hope that helps, Jolene. I want to thank you for the question. Okay. Oh my gosh, this is a big next question. Wow. Hold on to your hats. Woo! This is a big question. How to get on the first page of Google. Thanks, Ed. That's a great question for everybody. How to get on the first page of Google. Now, when I started doing internet marketing, oh my goodness, going on 7 years now, I worked with a wonderful pair of men, Ben Pate and Joe Troyer, and they know how to get on the first page of Google. Now, when I say this is a great question, the system I learned, hands down, is about 20 pages deep. So I'm going to start with step number 1 for you, because this is a big question. Okay, the first thing, getting on the first page of Google. Getting on the first page of Google is dreamland for anybody who wants to advertise online, right? Dreamland. Okay, so here's the thing. Google likes to look at what are people searching for. And if you seem to have a lot of information about what people are searching for, you get closer and closer and closer and closer and closer to the front page of Google. But your content, your information has to be fresh. It has to be a new idea. It can't be the same idea repeated over and over and over. It has to use the same words or phrases that people are using when they're searching for your product. These are called keywords and keyword phrases and long tail keyword phrases. And those long tail keyword phrases are way big long phrases. It's like saying movies versus movies near me versus horror movies playing at night near me. That's assuming you're going to a horror movie, of course, that you're playing at night. Okay, so keywords, I use something called keywords.io. The other tool I use is called Keywords Everywhere. The third tool I use is Google Trends or Google Searches. So I guess that's 4 tools. Okay. Go to Google. Type in your product or what you think people are saying when they're looking for your product in the search bar. Go to the bottom of the page. At the bottom of the page, Google will tell you different ways people are searching for your product. They'll tell you. You don't even have to guess. Keep a list on a spreadsheet. Begin to use those keywords and keyword phrases in your posts, on your website, in your blogs, at the title of your blog, at the name of your page. If you're a local business, add your city, add your zip code. Keywords are the fundamental part. Now, the next part of that, to get on the front page of Google, is you have to have something called incoming links. Now, years ago, before even I started doing internet marketing, link strategy was everything. And people would buy links, and they'd buy somebody else's links for their own links, and they'd steal links, and they'd embed links, and woo! Link strategy isn't where it's at anymore. But you still need incoming links. Incoming links tells Google, people like you, you're popular. The game of getting on the front page of Google is the game of being popular. Okay, so if you go to, wow, this is really digging into my memory and working out some cobwebs. Thanks. Okay, so citations, you want to get your citations lined up. This is Yellow Page. This is a listing in Yelp. This is your listings in Brown Book. If you go to Google, and I believe the name of the company is Local Business Citations or Local Business Services. Let me look that up for you right now. I don't want to give wrong information. Nope, that wasn't it. Okay, woo! Look at all these bad boys that came up. Oh, and the one I want to give you isn't coming up. Darn it. Yeah, Local Citation Services. I'm going to have to look this up and put it in the comments for all of you. I apologize. Oh, okay. Here's one you can use, WLmarketing.com. WLmarketing.com. Great citation service. So you need keywords, you need citations, and now you need content. I'm talking blog posts. I'm talking articles. I'm talking about social media content. I'm talking about people sharing your content. Yes, getting on the first page of Google takes a lot of effort. It takes diligence. It takes repetition. And it takes persistence. Persistence. That's actually one of the traits of success. If you can be persistent enough to get onto the first page of Google, you have a sign of being successful. Now, getting on the first page of Google is also known as search engine optimization, or SEO, search engine optimization. So if you don't want to do all that, which some people love to geek out on this stuff, and trust me, if I didn't have those 20 pages from 100 pages from with 20 steps from Ben and Joe years ago, I'd have never figured this out. I'd have left this industry 6 years ago. God bless them. They wrote it out, and I'm going to refer you also to Joe Troyer. Check him out. He knows a lot about this. He's into the pay-per-click business these days. So that, my friends, is a wrap for our Ask Me Anything session for today. I want to thank everyone for coming. It's been a blast. I thank you for cleaning the cobwebs out of my head and the old information that I cut my teeth on when I started in this business. And yes, if you like what you hear, like my page, Ads That Serve. Follow that page. I'm always posting some cool stuff on there. And yes, I do have a group. The group is Ads That Serve and Profit. Ads That Serve and Profit. I'm in the process of renaming it, so it looks a little funny right now. So like and follow this page here, Ads That Serve, and we'll get you into the group, get you some more information. Thanks for coming today. See you again next week.